Auburn made a DC hire last night. DJ Durkin, who was most recently in College Station running the defense for Texas A&M, has been named the defensive coordinator. Now, from a micro standpoint, I think this is a good hire. Like, when you look at DJ Durkin and what happened at Texas A&M the last couple of years, it wasn't because the defense was lackluster is why Texas A&M underperformed. They had a top 20 defense in the country last season. He's been all around the country or all around the SEC rather, in terms of his familiarity being a defensive coordinator in the SEC. He had the first rush defense in the SEC last season. They were third in total defense. The main sentiment I want to get to here is I think this hire for Auburn is a really high floor hire. DJ Durkin won't walk into any situation as the defensive coordinator at Auburn and be overwhelmed or feel underprepared or anything like that. Like, you made a really strong, high floor kind of hire. And I think that's great. And I think a lot of this too will be predicated on the kind of personnel Auburn has going forward. And I think that's going to kind of dictate what kind of defense they have going forward. But DJ Durkin, you're in very capable, steady hands if you're a fan of defensive football in Auburn, Alabama. But what really came to mind when I first saw this hire made by Hugh Freeze is kind of a sentiment we've seen now a couple of different times throughout this offseason when it comes to Auburn. Hugh Freeze is continuing to send the message to his football program and to the fan base: what we did here previously is not good enough. It's not good enough. Period. Mic drop, the end. What we expect to get done here, we are not putting in the proper efforts or proper processes in place to get to where we want to go. And I think for Hugh Freeze, it would have been really easy to sit back on last year's progress and call it just that. Hey, progress from 5-7 the year before to 6-6 this upcoming year. And now going into the future, we're going to just build on that foundation we have. Got some good things in place, got to let it bake a little bit more. And I don't think anybody would have pushed back tremendously hard against that. You always have folks that are asking for changes to be made across the landscape in college football when it comes to underachieving at certain levels. But like, nobody would have blamed Hugh Freeze if he kept that staff in a large part similar to how it looked this past year. But Hugh Freeze says, you know what? We had flashes against Auburn. We have flashes at Auburn, against Georgia, against Alabama. Those home games against those teams, great. It's a good showing. Not good enough. Nope, not good enough. So guess what? I'm going to call the plays now. I'm going to take it upon myself as an offensive guy, given my background. I'm going to be the one that allows us to be successful, or the reason why we fail. I'm taking it on me. Not good enough what we did play calling last year. We're going to be better. I'm running the show. Look at the defense. Defense didn't have the worst showing in the world last year. Ron Roberts coached a lot of football. They allowed right around 23 points a game. It's not bad, but Hugh Freeze again saying, nope, not good enough. We expect to compete for championships here. DJ Durkin has coached a lot of football as well, has been around the block in the SEC. We're bringing him in to run the show, to elevate our defense. That's fine. You had 23 points a game last year. Not good enough. We're moving the needle. This thing's going one way. You look at the roster. Brought in a lot of players this past season via the transfer portal. Over 20, that is. Already, to this point in the year, we've seen them go and attack the portal and bring in 9 players via the transfer portal. Coach is making some nice moves on the recruiting trail, right around that top 10 range when it comes to how they're attacking right now on the high school level. Continues to say, nope, not good enough. The roster talent has to be top tier. We expect to win SEC championships. We're not settling for 8 wins. We're not settling for 9 wins. We are looking to bring home hardware. In order to do that, we have to be better in every facet of the game. So if I'm an Auburn fan, I appreciate the sense of urgency. I appreciate the desire from my head coach to say, we expect this kind of output, and if we're not getting this kind of output, then we got to change the input immediately. It's not a thing where we wait 1 to 2 years and hope that it eventually gels. Like, we're doing this now. We're doing this now. We're making it happen right now. The consistent effort to emphasize what Auburn is about by Hugh Freeze is once again embodied in this hire. It was embodied by him taking over play calling. It's embodied by how they attack the portal. It's embodied by how they're recruiting at the high school level. They expect to win championships. And that's what they're capable of at Auburn. That's what they can do at Auburn. And I think Hugh Freeze, the way that he's attacking right now, continues to send that message. Now, going back to what I said a second ago, the roster ultimately in SEC play will be the difference. Why was Georgia consistently one of the big dogs in the SEC? Why has Alabama been so good in the SEC? Yes, they've got great coaches. Kirby Smart, one of the best in the game. Nick Saban, the best of all time. But why those teams have won the SEC has been because of what they have on that roster. They have both recruited at a top 2 level, it feels like, just about every single year. Bottom line, you got to have the Jimmies and the Joes. So all that's to say, I would expect Auburn to continue to be active in the portal, and especially in this second spring portal window, or this second portal window after spring football, that is. I think you'll see Auburn and Hugh Freeze once again say, well, what we had in spring practice, that was good. Is that championship level? Is that good enough for what we're asking for? I think that they'll be active if they have the right guys available in the portal and the right guys that can help them. Because we had Hugh Freeze on this show a season ago, and right around, I guess it was post-spring football, we asked him, hey, what's the approach to the portal? How do y'all go about doing that? And he's like, listen, anybody that can help us at Auburn, we will bring them in. And he named a couple of specific positions, but he made it very clear, like, listen, we are trying to up the talent level of our roster. We don't care what position. We have some specific positions we'll go after, but we're trying to up this thing as a whole from a talent level. So all that's to say, man, Auburn, this second portal window, I expect them to be aggressive, and Hugh Freeze as a whole has been aggressive, and him hiring DJ Durkin to be his new defensive coordinator is another step in the right direction, I believe, of Auburn pushing the envelope and saying, nope, not good enough. We expect to win some hardware. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.